one of the most important moments in modern financial history quietly happened today. And arguably, the most powerful man in America you never voted for just took to the microphone and decided whether your savings survives the next 12 months. His name is Kevin Warsh. Today was his first Fed meeting as chairman, and he didn't have many options, basically zero. Either turn on the money printer or refuse and let the bond market kick the door down for him. Heads, Bitcoin wins. Tails, the dollar loses. It's a rigged coin flip, and today he flipped it. But to understand why every road out of this disaster is paved with enough debased dollars to make your eyes bleed, we got to talk about the thing that happened this weekend that the news sold you as peace. It wasn't peace. They just lit the money printer and called it peace. Let me show you. We got a big one today, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand three things. One, why the Iran deal was never about peace. It was about oil and why they needed it open before a clock runs out in 80 days. Two, the $40 trillion confession one of the biggest names on Wall Street just said out loud on camera that should have been front page news and instead got buried. And three, why no matter which door Kevin Warsh walked through today, the only asset on earth that can't be printed just got handed the keys. Let's get to it.
Good day. It's an honor, a true honor to be back at the Federal Reserve and to take up this duty at a time of such consequence.
So this weekend, Bloomberg drops the 12 points, the big U.S.-Iran peace deal. End the war on all fronts, lift the naval blockade on signing, U.S. troops out of the region in 30 days, sanctions gone on a timeline, frozen Iranian funds released. And here's the one that matters. Washington exempts Iranian oil and related banking from sanctions. They didn't make peace because they love peace. They made peace because they needed the oil to flow. This is kind of like a guy who sets your kitchen on fire, then kicks down the door to rescue you, and the local paper runs a headline calling him a hero. And don't take it from me, take it from the guy who signed it. Here's Trump explaining why this deal had to happen.
It's in the low 70s now, right?
That's right.
That's amazing. So that's what speaks louder than words. The alternative would be a worldwide depression. You know, the stupid people want to have a worldwide depression, and they're stupid people. So you can only go so far. You drive somebody into the ground, and a lot of bad things happen. Number one, the Strait would never open because they don't like floating billion-dollar ships up and down a strait when there are rockets flying over them and mines all over the place. So the Strait would never be open. It wouldn't be open for a long time. So we have a very hot stock market, and we have starting to be a very low oil price. And
the alternative would be a worldwide depression. Stupid people want to have a worldwide depression. Number one, the Strait would never open. Worldwide depression, those are his words, not mine. So let's be honest. The President of the United States just told you on camera this deal had nothing to do with peace and everything to do with stopping an economic collapse. The Strait stays closed, oil goes vertical, the whole house of cards comes down. He said the quiet part for me. Thanks, big guy. Saved me a paragraph. Now, why the rush? Because the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the emergency oil stash, just got drained to its lowest level in 42 years. 42 years. That's the 1983 low. We are running on fumes, and the second that reserve hits empty, there's nothing left to cushion an oil shock, no buffers. So when Iran's threatening the Strait of Hormuz, a third of the world's seaborne oil, somebody did the math and realized we cannot afford this war one more week. Not because of the soldiers, because of the too damn high inflation. This war exposed something the financial industrial complex really didn't want exposed. We spent trillions on defense, the largest military budget on earth, and a country a fraction of our size damaged American systems with weapons that cost pennies on the dollar. The Pentagon, and I'm not making this up, has never passed a single audit. Not one.
For me.
Don't
That's
they,
the rule. always miss their audits?
Yes, there's.
How many times did they miss their audits? The Pentagon.
Yeah, the Pentagon.
How many times? I think it's crazy numbers too. Like whoopsies.
Oops. I just forgot about that $300 billion.
Article in 2021 says they've never passed an audit.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. So it's rules. It's rules for thee, not for me. They've never passed an audit.
There's never.
Yeah.
Come on, never.
Never.
Never. The Pentagon's accounting records are so convoluted that billions of dollars cannot be accounted for, charges a new government report. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so crazy. Never?
Yeah. And you'll go to jail if you don't pay these. You'll go to jail if you're not paying your taxes. You haven't survived an audit. And
funny. That's so funny.
So here's the question that should keep you up at night. If the most expensive war machine in human history can't pass an audit and can't win cheap, what exactly are you getting for your money? And the answer is the same answer to everything on this channel. You're getting a bill. You are always getting the bill. Which brings me to the confession. Mike Novogratz, you know, the bald guy with the wolf tattoo, somehow a billionaire, Wall Street guy, Goldman alum, even he gets it and can do the simple math. He just went on camera and said the quiet part so loud, it should have shattered glass. Roll it.
For us.
We have $40 trillion of debt, and it's growing. The only way we deal with that debt is to inflate it away. Period. End of story. There is no other. We don't grow out of $40 trillion of debt. So we actually need inflation. And we've got to, in some ways, run 3 to 4% inflation, convincing the market and consumers we're going to keep that close to 2. And each year we don't keep it to 2, but don't lose everybody's faith. You know, we're eradicating 2% of debt. If you could run 4%, if me and you do, we could run 4% inflation for the next 10 years, but have that 2 target and have the markets believe we were going to get to 2. We'd have 10 years of 2%, you know, whacking away at that debt, deflating it away, and 2%. That's 10 years. That's 10% or 20% in 10 years plus compounding. It's probably 30% in 10 years. You'd have less debt, less net debt. And so, like, that's what has to happen. What normally happens is people lose control of confidence, and then all of a sudden that inflation goes not to 4%, but to 14 or 40%, and all the debt gets wiped out, but all the wealth gets wiped out, right?
yeah.
And so it's we are playing in the trickiest game macroeconomics can play. And we had a chance 8 years ago to change that debt to GDP trajectory. We just didn't get it done. And, you know, listen, guys like Ray Dalio think it's too late at this point.
According to the rich bald guy, the official stated plan, is to lie to you about inflation, tell you it's 2 while it's running 4, and quietly vaporize a third of what you own over 10 years, and hope you didn't notice because the number in your bank account still goes up. Your dollars don't disappear, they just stop buying things. It's magic. And here's the thing, this isn't new. Novogratz didn't reveal a conspiracy, he read you the terms and conditions. And the only reason he can say it out loud and laugh is because he assumes you won't do anything about it. But to inflate away 40 trillion, you need permission, you need the printer running, and you can't run the printer while oil's on fire and inflation's screaming. So now you understand why they needed Iran solved this weekend. The peace deal wasn't the story. The peace deal was the key that unlocks the printer. So here's how the machine actually works, and stick with me because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Step 1, Warsh, the new Fed chair, wants to cut short-term rates. Step 2, he shrinks the balance sheet to steepen the yield curve. Step 3, and this is a sleight of hand, he guts a banking rule called the SLR, so the banks themselves get forced to swallow trillions in government debt with leverage. That's kind of like the Fed just making the banks print it for them. QE isn't called QE. Money printing with the fingerprints wiped off, I guess. But that whole Rube Goldberg machine only works if inflation stays calm, and oil is the master switch on inflation. War spikes oil, oil spikes inflation. Inflation flattens the curve, and the entire plan dies in its crib. That's why Iran had to be solved. The deal isn't a foreign policy story. The Iran deal is the linchpin of the entire U.S. economy, and it's being held together by a strategic reserve with maybe 80 days of runway left. So today, Warsh walked up to the podium.
As you saw a few moments ago, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the Fed funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75% in support of the Fed's dual mandate. The committee also reaffirmed its policy of maintaining ample reserves in the banking system. Economic activity is expanding at a solid pace, despite elevated uncertainty that owes in part to the conflict in the Middle East. Productivity growth and capital investment both strong. Job gains have kept pace with the workforce, and the unemployment rate has changed little. We recognize that inflation has been running well ahead of the Fed's long-stated inflation goal of 2%. That's been going on for more than 5 years.
And whatever you just saw him do, watch this. It doesn't matter. There is no version of this story where a country 40 trillion in the hole, adding 2 trillion a year, paying over $1 trillion just in interest, suddenly decides to get sober. They told you the plan. Inflate it away. Period. End of story. Heads, Bitcoin wins. Tails, the dollar loses. Okay, we're about to bring it home today, and it's going to be good, I promise. But before we do, we got to recognize our sponsors powering this show. Oh, and yeah, look at our likes.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Our friends at the Bitcoin Way do this for a living. Hardware wallet, your own node, full on-chain verification. They walk you through every step until you mastered it. Plus, privacy phones, Plan B residency, the whole sovereignty stack. Schedule your free 30-minute consultation today by scanning that QR on screen or click the link in the description. Do it today, not next week, today. And here's the dirty secret about every other Bitcoin-backed lender. They're lending your collateral out. They're rehypothecating it. They're playing the same fractional reserve game the banks play with your Bitcoin. And when the music stops, your stack is gone. Ledn doesn't do that. Their custodied loan product means your Bitcoin sits in cold storage. Never lent out, never touched. That's the Satoshi standard. 8 years, $10 billion in origination, 0 customer Bitcoin lost. Lowest rates in the industry, no hidden fees, no fine print, auto top-up so you never get liquidated by a wick. 0 prepayment penalties, pay it off whenever you want. Don't sell your Bitcoin to buy a house, a car, a business. Borrow against it. Keep your stack. Scan the QR or click the link in the description and head over to ledn.io.
9.9% is they will never have a nuclear weapon, and you can't give Iran a nuclear weapon, and they will never have a nuclear weapon, so that's very, very strong. It's a very strong deal. Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong, and most people seem to be very happy. Who's really happy is the market.
Nobody knows what it is, but it's a very strong deal. Most people seem to be very happy. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what it is? That's the president describing the thing he signed. And it gets better. Iranian state media is now saying the real agreement has 14 articles and the full text is not getting released to the public after Friday, even though both sides promised it would. So the deal that decides whether the global economy survives, the deal that flips the switch on the money printer, you don't get to read it. They'll tell you it's strong, they'll tell you to be happy. But the actual terms? Sealed. And here's the rule that never changes. When they hide the paperwork, it's because the paperwork is the leverage. You're not the customer here. You're the collateral. Now, one more thing, because somebody's got to ask it. If this deal is so good for America, who was against it? Of course, Huckabee. Mark 11 and the neocons came out demanding the war keep going. These guys want the conflict to go until every bomb's been dropped with no goal and no American interest, because that's the business model. The war is the product. And then Huckabee gets up and tells you America wouldn't exist without a foreign government. Look, I'm not here for their culture war bullshit. I'm here to tell you what it means for your money. Endless war means endless spending, means endless debt, means, say it with me, inflate it away. Inflate it away. The people who wanted this war to continue and the people who need to debase your dollar are running the exact same play. More war, more debt, more printer. The only opt-out button ever invented is sitting at a 21 million cap, and it doesn't care who's mad about it. Okay, so let's bring it home. They told you this weekend was about peace. It wasn't. It was about oil, so inflation cools, so the printer turns on, so they can quietly inflate away 40 trillion of debt while telling you it's 2% inflation. A billionaire admitted it on camera. The president admitted it'd be a depression otherwise. And then they sealed the paperwork so you can't check their work. They didn't make peace with Iran. They made peace with the money printer. And the one asset on this entire planet that can't be printed, can't be inflated, can't be sealed away in a 14-article document you're not allowed to read, and doesn't care what Kevin Warsh decided to do today, just got handed the keys. This isn't Bitcoin winning because things are good. This is Bitcoin winning because they ran out of options. Stay humble, stack sats, don't sell your Bitcoin. Or I guess if you do, at least buy billions more. Oh, and if you're serious about Bitcoin mining, there's one event you need to be at this summer. Mining Disrupt 2026, Miami, July 21st through the 23rd. This is the conference for miners, hardware makers, energy companies, and anyone building real Bitcoin infrastructure. Keynotes, panels, massive expo floor. The deals that shape this industry happen here. Use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off your tickets at miningdisrupt.com, and we'll see you in Miami. Smash the like, hit subscribe, give us a pamp, and let me know down below, heads or tails. Either way, it's a dub. Love you guys. Catch you next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.